Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the pod. Today we have a very exciting guest, my dear friend Amanda. Amanda, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Amanda, there's so many things I could share about you. She's a mom of two. You've had really cool jobs in the past that I love to hear about. The specific thing we want to talk about today is around travel and traveling with kids. One thing I really admire about you is, from the first time I ever met you, you talked about travel and your love of travel. And I think what's really inspiring is that just has not slowed down at all with kids. So you have a 3-year-old, soon to be 4, and then a 1-year-old. And what are we at right now for flight counts for Mila?
We're like in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Yeah.
Combo of international and
domestic. Yeah, most honestly are like cross country because our family's on the East Coast, and then international, and then some hops and jumps here and there.
Okay, so she's in the 50s. And what about Celine?
I think, it's just so second kid that I haven't tracked it as well. I think we're in like the late teens, early 20s for her.
I mean, that's still pretty good for a 1-year-old. Yeah. So, okay, let's kick it off. Tell us about you, your travels, who you are. Let's just get a little intro.
Cool. I'm Amanda. Like you said, I have 2 kids. By day, I'm a brand partnerships executive in the creator economy. And by night, I write about travel after kids, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to, like the process of just figuring out your identity after you have kids. And for me, it was just my love of travel was such a core part of who I was before I had kids. And then after having them, like really figuring out what does it look like? What does it mean? How do I do it? All of the things. And that's what led me to write more about just like the feelings and the trade-offs and all of those things that go into travel after kids. So I've been having a lot of fun doing that. And of course, traveling with them. Like I said, I have a full-time corporate job, so does my husband. So there's a lot of trade-offs that have to happen with taking vacation, working while we travel. Like we're kind of just navigating it as we go. But my biggest priorities are just like exposing my girls to the world and different languages and ways of living and like really opening their minds. And then, of course, like the other impetus for it all is just like I want to keep traveling. And I had my kid and my first one, and I didn't know how I would take it, but I didn't feel like, oh, I want to go and I want to leave her necessarily. It was like, I want to go and I want to bring her and I want her to experience it with me, and it will look very differently. But that's kind of been the balance that I've been dancing on, and have been having a really good time doing it. We just got back from Europe, my first solo trip with my older daughter, which was a lot of fun and amazing, and like such a relief after traveling with a baby for so long. So we can talk about that too.
Yeah, so let's start there. So you just got back from Paris. Just you and Amelia flew together, right? Just two of you?
Yep, we flew from LA to Amsterdam.
Okay.
And we actually did a multi-generational trip, which was really cool. My dad met us in Amsterdam, so he's based on the East Coast. We spent 5 days there, and then I took her myself to Paris. My sister-in-law lives in London, so she met us there for 2 days. So it was sort of like this mix of like generational, and then we had this little like Paris girls trip. And it was so much fun, so different from, like the things you have to think about when you're traveling with a baby. And there were still logistics, and I was still like, the solo parent for 8 days, but she was like a little buddy. We had the best time.
That is so cool. I'm so inspired to do a solo trip.
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, I feel like after you get through the first few years, it's like by the time I consider her like 4 at this point. She's going to be 4 in a few weeks. Like it's almost like it's easy. It's so easy. Like I didn't bring a bed for her. Usually I'm like carting around the pack and play, shipping that across the world, or dealing with like the provided crib, which is always a trip, depending on what you get at the hotel.
Yeah. A lot of people have questions about that, so we'll get into that.
I've done everything, and like sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. We did share a bed on the trip, which I thought would make it like really easy, and it made it easy from like a lugging the stuff standpoint. But it completely cured me of my desire to co-sleep.
So it just wasn't.
We got 1 full night of sleep in 8 days. She would go to bed fine. Like I'd put her to bed and then I'd go like have an evening and then I'd join her, it was like a queen size bed or whatever. But with the jet lag, she would wake up in the middle of the night and she would see that I'm there, and it was like, she wants to chat, she wants to cuddle, which is adorable, but neither of us can fall asleep if we're cuddling. So we did not sleep great on the trip.
So if you could do it differently, would you have just gotten her own bed? Or what could you have done?
It's a really good question. I have the SlumberPod, SlumberTot, like inflatable bed, which is really good. I just didn't want to bring it. I was a person by myself. Like if my husband's there, fine, we'll pack it. It's fine. But I was trying to really keep the stuff to a minimum. I just brought one checked bag, a stroller, and a carry-on.
Wow.
That's it. Like
That's
a checked
impressive.
bag. And it's still a lot to like get by yourself around there, you know? So I didn't want to bring it. And I honestly don't think I would do anything differently. I just didn't know how it would go. Like I thought, you know, maybe we'll have a night or two of rough sleep and then it'll kind of be like smooth sailing. And it was just the entire trip of waking up overnight. So, but it's fine. We still had a great time.
Yeah. And shoot, I had a question before. Oh, traveling, like her on the airplane. I mean, not that you are new to flying or flying with kids, but was there a different protocol or plan that you did compared to when all of you go?
You know what? It's interesting. I feel like I was much more like calm about it, just having, well, first of all, only traveling with one kid. After traveling with two kids, I was like, one kid, either one, like I'm just happy it's fun, it's easy. But, you know, I packed her, like my kind of way of doing it is like I'll pack a backpack with like, I let her pick out her favorite little toys, like her little, you know, Minnie Mouse figurine or like her Frozen dolls. And then I put some new stuff in there too so that she can like be excited and surprised. But honestly, like I think she watched Frozen 3 times on the way there and like she was thrilled. And I brought a little like, you know, that hammock where she can like kind of put her feet up. It was pretty hard for her to fall asleep on the plane, just in a regular seat. But she slept for a couple hours. I didn't really sleep much at all because she was kind of like sleeping on me, sleeping next to me. But I kind of just think about the flights as like, you just have to get there. It doesn't have to be the best part of the trip. It doesn't have to be amazing. It's just like, just get on the flight, get where you're going. And once you get there,
It's better.
it's over.
I just took my family to Japan, and I have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and my daughter was 6 months. And people were asking about the flight, and honestly, the flight there was terrible. Like it was awful. It was like a 25-hour travel day, something like that. And my toddler slept for 1 hour of the whole time, and then my baby slept for like 2. It was hard. It was really hard, but it doesn't change what I would do it again because it was, you know, you get through it. My son keeps talking about it. He's like, that was a hard thing that we did on the plane. I'm like, yeah, but then how great was Japan, buddy? He's like, yeah, we just had to do it. I'm like, yeah.
We just had to do it.
You know, you get through it. You survive.
You survive. And my mantra with travel is like any sleep is good sleep because the first time I took my daughter to Europe, she was 16 months. Which is like a notoriously kind of difficult time to travel.
So hard.
And for the record, like from California, I'm from the East Coast, so I have this chip on my shoulder. It's like much harder to get to Europe from the West Coast. It's twice as long. It's overnights, the whole thing. And I fought her to sleep. Like I tried everything the whole flight for 9 hours. I tried to get her to sleep, and she finally fell asleep the last hour. And I just realized like I could have just been like letting her hang, you know? It was like, it was the constant attempt of trying to get her to sleep that was really the stressful thing. And you know what's interesting, and I don't know how Japan, because you're going the opposite direction, but at least going the way to Europe, like it's kind of fine if they don't sleep that much because they kind of get on the time zone at that point. You know, it almost helped. Like she had 0 time zone like issues changing on that trip. And I think it's because she didn't really sleep on the flight. So she was just like tired enough to go to bed that night. And
like time is all in limbo by that time. Yeah.
I was hoping that. They finally went to bed at night and then they slept for 3 hours and they were up again. So, you know, but sleep isn't really our family's jam, as Larissa knows. But it's okay because you still get through it. And but 16 months though, that is, I would say in my experience, that like from age 1 to even like 2.5, I find very challenging for travel.
It is. And actually it's funny. That was the impetus for me taking this trip with my older daughter because we went to Spain over the summer to San Sebastian, which was amazing. Of course, like we had a wedding in Boston and I was like, well, we're halfway there. Might as well go all the way to Europe.
May as well go to Spain.
Might as well go to Spain.
Yeah.
So we took the girls both. So my older daughter had just turned 3 and the baby was 5 months old. And that 12-hour flight back from Madrid, the 3-year-old, which is why I knew this trip would be fine. She watched TV for like 5 hours and then she slept for like another 5. It was fine. The baby had a really hard time because she was little. It was like 4 or 5 week windows on the plane and then she couldn't fall asleep. And it was just really hard on her, on us. My husband looked at me afterwards and he was like, I don't need to travel internationally again until she turns 2. Because we knew that was kind of where the tides turn. And my response was like, challenge accepted, because you don't have to travel internationally, but like I will not be staying home for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
So that's how I was like, well, let me try to go.
That is exactly why we booked Japan too. My husband gave me the approval because similar, it sounds like how you are. I love to travel. Before I got married and had kids, I mean, I would work 9 months a year and travel the other 3.
Amazing.
Like I had a job where they would grant the sabbatical. So I traveled solo so much. And then I had kids and I'm like, what am I going to do? I did not take the leap like you have, which is so inspiring. But this year I was like, I'm missing that part of my identity, kind of what you said. Like it's a huge part of what I love to do and who I am. So I finally worked on my husband, who's like never really traveled. I mean, he's been to Mexico, but like he has not done trips like that. And he's like, okay, fine, honey, we can go. We'll go to Japan. And then I booked it. We left a month later because I'm like,
Wow.
there's a window that we're trying to hit. And I know how it is when you're traveling in like that near a year phase. I want to stay as far away from that as possible.
Yeah, once they start to get wiggly, it's just the plane becomes really hard and they can't follow directions. Like I will never forget the first time I told my daughter, like, you have to sit in your car seat because the seatbelt light is on. We have to buckle you in. And she said, okay. I was like, that's a revelation because for the past 2 years, it's been screaming and like, I don't want to be stuck in the seat and everything. So yeah.
In true Smith kid fashion,
Oh, God.
they just hang out.
Yeah.
And I think when we did Turkey, Evander must have been like 16 months, 17 months because I was newly pregnant with Jaja. I have no complaints. My only complaint was that I was violently ill. So that threw off the whole thing. But the kids were great. I mean, literally Evander. So we actually have a difference of opinion on this, I think. I like to, if we're going to go super far like that, I want to do it at their bedtime. Because so our flight to Turkey was as close to 7 p.m. as possible. So then they just got on the flight, they ate, and then they literally slept for 12 hours and they woke up.
Oh
and
my
then,
gosh.
like they were just out, you know? Yeah. I think Layton woke up once and was like, what the heck's going on? But we're like, oh, we're still flying. Just, you know, they're there. Everyone slept. But it was me who was really ill. So I do need a redemption trip. But now I feel like we're just in that hard phase because Jaja's 11 months and taking some steps and stuff. But you got to just do it.
You just do it. And I think one thing that is so rewarding is like when you do it, like you took that trip, you went to Japan with 3 kids, like then when you do it as they get older, like with one child who's almost 4, it was like the easiest thing I've ever done, which I feel like for a person off the street to take a 4-year-old to Europe by themselves, that would be probably pretty hard. But because I had done it, it felt so much easier and that was really rewarding. And I'm with you. I think it's really interesting, the night flight thing, because it's so kid dependent.
Yeah.
And so you'll see people like evangelize, you have to leave. Like, this is the time to leave. This is the time to get there. My older daughter just didn't. She just did it. Like, she was excited by the plane. She wants to watch the show, whatever. So for us, I mean, I've left it like every hour and tried every combination. This trip, we left around 2 p.m., which was interesting. And I actually think it was nice because it gave us like, all right, get on the plane. It's 2 o'clock. We have like the 5 hours before, you know, we really like get to bedtime. So I thought like maybe she could kind of get those like wiggles and like energy out and then still have, I mean, we still have another, whatever, 6 hours of the flight for her to sleep. It like half worked out that way.
You know, I think about my neighbor, Aya, who you've met. She's from Japan and he's from Australia. And their kids, they have very close to you, actually, 5, 3, and 6 months. I think very, very close to you. Yeah. Those kids have been to Japan and Australia so many freaking times. Yeah. They just got back from Japan 2 weeks ago and they're about to they're leaving on Monday for Australia. And they do it like they'll go to Japan like 3 times a year, Australia multiple times a year, and then they fly all over the place in between. And Aya does it by herself.
That's amazing.
Isn't that insane?
Amazing.
And she just like has her routine down, but she is kind of similar in that she's like, I've just had to try and figure out what works. So it's very kid dependent because people ask me that, is it better to fly in the day? Is it better to fly at night? Is it better to take a layover or not? Right. And I feel like there's a piece of that where if you're going to do it often, or at least to some sort of frequency that you want to get in a cadence with it, it's kind of figuring out what works for your kids.
Totally. And it changes like depending on the age. I mean, we talked about this because I know you love to go to Miami. So it's like, do you do the direct flight or do you break it up into 2 and take the layover? And we were in Florida in 30A in January. My daughter was like 11 months old, turning 1. And she was an early walker, so she's like very mobile. And we took the layover. I think we might have had to take it anyway, but we were like, let's do this layover, and it gives them a chance to get off the plane and get the wiggles out and then get back on. So it's just like very season dependent. But I think if you're someone that like, and it applies to anything, but like travel's kind of its own unique beast. But if you're someone that like loved travel before you had kids, like you're starting to try to figure out all of these things once you have kids. And sometimes it feels really heavy and it feels like, oh my God, I can't do the thing I used to do. And I think now that I'm like kind of coming out of it with the older one, it's nice to think about it as like, this is a season and it's not going to last, and it gets easier. Like, it really does get easier. And if you do it when it's hard, like, it's exponentially easier.
It gets so much easier. And there's something I never saw coming with it, I would say. I knew it was going to be harder with kids. Everyone was like, you shouldn't take 3 little kids to Japan. I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway. I need this part of my identity. There was something incredibly magical about watching them experience it through their eyes.
Yeah.
It was just wild because it's something I have such a passion for, and to see them love it and to love meeting new people and love taking these new experiences. And my son just did a presentation to his preschool this week, and he put like all the pictures, and he was showing everybody all the different places that he went and talking about it. And he could name, he's like, this picture was at the same park as this picture. And I'm like, this really, like, cool. You have pride that you went there, you learned so much. And that was just, I don't know, it was like a really cool experience. So I would encourage anyone to do it if you love to travel.
So someone wrote into me actually coincidentally and said, I have booked a solo trip with my 4-year-old to Paris, just me and her. And everyone says this is silly because she's not going to remember.
Hate that.
What's your rebuttal to this?
Okay, I have 2 rebuttals.
Okay.
One is I will.
You will remember. Yeah.
I want to go to Paris.
Mm-hmm. So you're coming along. You're coming to Paris.
And I don't want to leave my kids. So what other options do I have?
Yeah.
We're going together. So that's really what it was for me. Like, we don't have a lot of family locally. Like, if we're traveling, our kids are mostly coming with us. So for me, it really is the option of like, either I don't go or they come, and like, I'm happy for them to come. So that's the first one, is like, I will remember that and the experiences together. But I also think there's something really valuable, kind of to your point, around like, your kids might not remember like the specific thing, but when they see a picture of themselves in Japan at 4 years old, like, they're going to know that they're the type of person that could get on a plane and fly overnight and deal with jet lag and be in a place where they don't recognize the language and they're around people who look different than them. Like, that's so valuable as they get older. And sure, they'll start to remember more and like that, but I really think it informs who they are to know that they're the type of people that can do that type of thing, even if all of the memories are not there.
I agree.
I have a third rebuttal to add. Like, we throw birthday parties for kids when they're 1 and 2 and 3. Like, it's the same thing. It's like, well, they're not going to remember. Why even bother with Christmas? It's like, I don't know.
No, I think it's a funny thing too, because where everyone is so big on the body keeps the score when it comes to trauma and negative things. And I always say, I do think the body keeps the score on the positives as well. The kids are going to know, like, you don't know in that type of sense, but your being just kind of knows we're just the type of people who get on a flight and we eat unique foods and we are okay being around other languages. And I mean, we've had this talk before where Leighton will say, I don't understand what they're saying. They're talking funny. And I'll say, oh, these are different languages and many people have different languages. Like, there's other opportunities within that travel. I mean, we went to Turkey and the Turkish food is kind of bizarre. And my kids were like, okay, what are we eating? So even those different experiences for all 5 senses, and they were in and out of a friggin' shuttle bus with no car seats, and we're throwing them on these jigs. Like, I mean, it's all kind of a different experience that I think they end up they take more away from it than I think is just, it's more than meets the eye, right? It's not just like, oh, I have these memories. Okay, but like, what else did you learn? How else is that shaping you as a person?
Memory is just a weird thing to start with.
Right.
Like, there's just such a weird argument to not travel for so many reasons.
It is. And I think there's like kind of what you said too, just seeing your kid like engage. We went to this place called Efteling, which is like the 3rd largest amusement park in Europe. And it predates Disney by like 3 years in the Netherlands. And the entire place, it has like this fantasy forest, like it's really cool, but the entire place is in Dutch. And so there's a puppet show and we're like, oh, this will be great for her. We go and sit down and it's a 20-minute puppet show in Dutch. And we're like following along, they're singing. I think there's like Little Red Riding Hood and another princess at some point. My daughter is like enraptured watching. At the end, she gets up and dances with all the other kids. They're singing the Dutch song. And I was just like, how cool is this that like she knows, like, I don't need to fully understand. She made friends with this little French girl on the canal cruise, handed her Peppa Pig. The girl handed her Elsa.
Oh, my gosh.
The girl didn't speak English. And then my daughter opened up her little drawing book and they each took a pen and were drawing together. And it's just like, I don't know, it just gives you so much hope for the world to see your kid just like engaging in such a positive way.
And maybe if more people did that, we would have less. Maybe this solves world problems, okay?
Honestly.
Get your kids out of the house.
See other different types of people.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you go about planning and organizing a trip.
Oh, I can't wait for this. There's spreadsheets.
Yeah,
You're going to love it. Okay,
Oh,
here we
I
go.
love a good system.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
Well, everything, I think there's kind of like two sides, which is like the budgeting side of
Yes.
it and then like the actual trip planning side of it. We like set aside a travel budget at the beginning of the year and then we measure it. We measure everything, but we track against it like on a monthly basis. And that's just really important to us to like have that set aside. So usually that's built around like an international trip if I have my way. An East Coast trip for us. And then like my husband will do a solo trip. I'll do a solo trip. We're not really in the world of like getting to go away together yet, but that's okay. So we kind of bake that in and then we kind of allocate like general amounts to each trip that we expect to take. And then the way that I went about planning this trip is I put together a spreadsheet, of course, and I do it by day. And like I start with just like kind of a brain dump of like all of the activities. I look in a few different places. There are a lot of like travel with kids Facebook groups. I don't know that I totally recommend because it's just like a lot of information. You don't really know the quality that you're getting, but usually I'll do like a cursory glance there of like, what are people doing? But I really like to balance just like some kid stuff because you have a kid with you and you want them to be engaged and interested, but also just like things that I would like to do or find valuable. And I think I've done that at pretty much every age. Some with more success than others. Like doing it at 2 years old in London was really hard. Like that, I don't know if I'd recommend like doing the high tea. Maybe you just like do the Peppa Pig tea at that point.
High tea with a 2-year-old.
We took her to Sketch because I was trying to recreate like 10 years ago. We'd been to Sketch for tea and we just walked in circles around Sketch the entire tea. And then there was like the Peppa Pig bus tour with tea that we could have done that I know she would have loved. So it's age dependent, but I do try to do like a nice balance of like things that I want to do because like I'm going all of the way there too, and then more kid stuff. So
I think really quick, a piece there that's interesting is the expectation. Like I found that the secret to this, there's many I'm sure, but having kind of low expectations for things. Because when you said recreating a moment from 10 years ago, like that was kind of setting you up for failure, right?
Absolutely. Beyond.
Like you had this amazing experience. You're going to recreate it with your 2-year-old. It's going to be
Mila's
magical.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Mila's like, where am I?
What
Let
are
me
you-
out
no.
of this high chair?
Yeah, like this is that just sounds, I can see how that happens. And I
Yes.
feel like that is something I try to really avoid.
It's hard.
It's hard to avoid, but it's like,
Okay. Oh, sorry. No, I didn't want to cut you
no,
off.
go for it.
I was going to say one of the reasons why I'm such a stickler about Miami. I'm like a walking poster board for Miami. I love it because it's only 5 hours, 4.5 sometimes. It's very kid friendly. So, I mean, we'll go to like some of the nicest restaurants and then we just bring the babies with us and they're just like, okay, cool, whatever. There's a lot of places for them to just run around, whether it's the boardwalk, whether it's parks, whether it's, whatever you're doing. And it is the only place that I have been in the United States where not a lot of people speak English. You're going to meet people from you could be at the cabana next to you and people are like, oh, we're from Portugal and we're here for the summer. We're from London. And so I do feel like my kids will make friends similarly. And last time we were there was couple little kids and they didn't speak English and the kids just started playing. So that's my shameless plug for going there. And there's so many, there's 38, but there's Palm Beach, there's all these different kind of places. But I think it's a nice, like, low expectation place is where I'm going with this. Where you're still kind of there and it's nice and food's good and weather's good. Everything else is kind of like, let's see what happens, you know?
Not so much pressure on it.
Not so much
And
pressure.
I think that's the key. And that's something personally I've had a really hard time with. Like the first time we went to Europe, we went to Mallorca and it was like, I just felt like I had to get so much out of it.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't traveled since like before I, was pregnant and that set us up for failure. And by like day 5, I was like, scrap all the plans. Let's just go to this beautiful beach that's right in front of our Airbnb and like relax for a moment. So I think I've gotten a little better, but I'm learning that lesson still every time. I do think kind of like the formula for success with kids is like generally like one big activity per day. And then like, for example, in Amsterdam, it's like a pretty big city with a lot of different things to see. I planned it in like, okay, today we're going to this area of the city. We have one big activity. We're doing a stroopwafel making class, or we're going to the zoo, or like whatever it may be, canal cruise. And then finding like a playground that's right over there. And just building in like that downtime for them to just like run around and have fun, which is also just a cultural experience in and of itself because they meet other people. And then kind of anchoring it in an activity that like appeases both the parents and the kids. I found like a lot of success with that.
I felt the same way because it sounds like similar to you, actually, in a lot of ways. Like I budget just like you do for very, very intentionally for it, but also I plan similarly. And I did one big activity and then one small activity for the afternoon is what I tried to do. But on the days that I did more, because similar to you, I'm like, we're already across the world. Let's get it in. We would end the day and my kids would be in the taxi and they're like, Mama, that was just too much for us today. We are too tired. You can't do that much to us again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are even able to articulate it. Lesson learned. And then I kind of, took it back a notch for the following days. But I think it's a really good way to look at it and know your kid's capacity and try not to overdo it, even though it's tempting.
It's hard. One thing that's helped me is, I don't know if it's true or not, but I tell myself, like, this isn't the only time you'll be here. Like, this isn't, you can come back. Like, you can go back to Paris. You can go back to Japan. Who knows? Maybe it's not for 20 years, but, like, you can come back, this isn't the end all be all. And I actually think that's one of the really beautiful things of traveling with kids is, like, it kind of relieves you of having to, like, check a lot of boxes. Like, we went to Porto, for example. I don't think we saw any of, like, the major sites in Porto. We were just there. Like, we went to some restaurants. We did some things. And, like, it was wonderful, but she was 2, and it was just not the trip to be like, let's go sightsee and go to museums. And it's kind of a relief in a way to be like, okay, we can go just experience a place. We can do a thing a day, but, like, we don't have to see every single thing on the tourist list of, like, what's to see here.
How do you handle naps?
Well, luckily or unluckily, my older daughter stopped napping at 2.5. So we have not had that lately, which actually has made travel a lot easier. But with the baby and when she was napping, I'm pretty protective of naps, even still with traveling. So when we go, I either plan to be like, if we're renting a car, like driving a longer distance in between activities during the nap, or I'll go back to the Airbnb. I almost always stay in Airbnbs or hotel, whatever. And I'll go back and do the nap and just like treat it as downtime for everyone. But again, it's so kid dependent. Like it's a beautiful thing if you have a kid who's going to like take a beach nap and just fall asleep on you. Like I'm so jealous of that. That's just not my reality. So for us, we do have to plan around it. With the baby in San Sebastian this summer, we did a ton of carrier naps. She would nap in the stroller on the beach at 5 months old. But like if I took her today at 15 months, and she's on one nap, I would probably plan around the nap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And talk about Airbnb versus hotel. Why have you come about that Airbnb is better? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's totally personal preference and like the experience you're looking for on the ground. For me, well, first of all, I don't know if we have this in common. We have a lot in common around the budget stuff, but my husband is like not, the luxury side of travel is of no interest to him. So we balance like our interests and our budget. So like for lodging, it's $500 a night is really like the sweet spot for us or less. And with 4 people, like you're not going to find a great hotel usually for that price. You'll find maybe an Airbnb. But I also really like the livability of Airbnbs. You get multiple bedrooms. Like I've had great success in Mallorca. We had 3 bedrooms. In Amsterdam, like my dad had a bedroom and we had a bedroom and then there's a kitchen. Just feels like a little bit more immersive and livable. So I always evaluate both, and then based on price and space, especially if you're bringing like a pack and play or you have multiple kids and need multiple rooms. I've heard really good things about Kindred, or even like people do home swapping. There's a home swapping website that I definitely have like piqued my interest in. I haven't dabbled yet, but so far Airbnbs have really been it. And you can negotiate the price of Airbnbs. Like you can write them and be like, hey, I'm doing an extended stay. Can you do a 10% discount? Like maybe normally they do 10% for 2 weeks, but you're going for 8 days. Like you can always ask the question. And I think there's a lot of just pricing flexibility and like space flexibility with Airbnbs you don't get with hotels.
Gosh, it's so funny. Our husbands are the opposite in that way. My husband's like, if we're going to go across the world, I don't want to make breakfast. I'm like, okay. So he's like, I want to stay at a hotel because then I can order room service and have some luxury to it. I'm like, I get that.
Right.
So I spent so much time for Japan trying to find a middle ground because with 5, you couldn't do 1 hotel room. You had to have 2. So I found a hotel that had 2 rooms and a kitchen, and it had some of the amenities of the hotel, which is nice too. But to your point, it's figuring out what everybody wants and what's going to fit the budget, and that's a hard part.
Age, I think, because I remember going the very first time we took Layton to Miami. We knew we wanted to stay at a hotel, but we had to get a room that had a refrigerator because I was pumping. And I was nursing. So it was like, I have to be able to have an area to wash pump parts and all of that. Whereas, I mean, subsequent children, everyone's close together. But now I think it would just change my thought. It would change my search. I wouldn't be such a stickler on the kitchen thing. Yes. Whereas when they were little, I was like non-negotiable. I'm not washing bottles in the bathroom. Yes. That was like a whole thing.
I agree. And I think the washing the bottles, I wouldn't be a stickler about anymore because, well, if I'm past that stage, the one thing that I didn't think was a big deal that ended up being a huge deal was a washer and dryer.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because I tried to pack a lot of clothes and we went through so
They go through so much. I'm just using Miami as my example because it's my home base. I will always look, even in a hotel, I want a hotel. If it's going to be a hotel room, I want either laundry service or honestly, I don't mind washer and dryer in unit and just throwing a load in. And then I will honestly pack half the amount for the kids if I have that. And they're just messy. And they're going to the pool. They're going to here. They're going to there. It's like, and I love them to get messy. I mean, that's like my jam. So I'm like, get messy, get crazy, and then I'll just wash it.
Wash it. It's funny, this trip, I thought I packed enough clothes for the whole time. And the Airbnb luckily had a washer dryer, but I was not expecting to use it. And then it was like day 3 and I was doing laundry, like multiple loads of laundry. And it's like, thank God.
That's exactly what happened for Japan. I'm like, my kids have really sensitive skin. My daughter has eczema. I don't know how the water is going to be and the detergent. So I'm like, I'm just going to pack plenty for the trip. No, same as you. I'm like, at night 1, I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. We got to see how our skin does because there's no way.
No way.
I'm curious because a lot of people ask this as well. Bring your own diapers or just buy diapers when you get there?
So my daughter also both of them have very sensitive skin, definitely the older one. And we use Coterie and I love Coterie. So I would travel with like a lot of diapers. And then we went to Mallorca and she was 15 months old. And and I think we knew we were going to run out of diapers at some point, but we brought like almost like enough for the trip, which is crazy because like then half the suitcase is diapers. And my husband went out to like the local Eroski supermarket and he came back with pants, which in Spain was pull-ups. And I'm like, she's 15 months. These are pull-ups. But what are you going to do? He bought them. So we put them on her. And they were like whatever local Spanish brand and they were pull-ups. And it was fine. So I was like, you know what? I was kind of cured of that at that point. My strategy is this. And even now, like for an older toddler who like only sleeps in a diaper, I bring enough for the plane, which I always like overpack diapers for the plane just in case. And then like to get me through the next day. So I don't have to like immediately on the ground go buy diapers or wipes or whatever. And then I bring enough for the flight back or like any travel days. I'm bringing like the diapers that I know are going to work and be good. And then I just buy there for the rest of them.
I do the same. We'll get into traveling for the plane. I actually feel like packing for the plane is more important than packing for the trip. That's just my hot take, which we'll get into. But I will get me enough I'll bring enough for the plane, a little bit into the next day, and then I will buy when I get there. And also I will even call ahead and usually the hotel will say, oh, we have a bunch or we can supply them for you. Turkey they did that. Cause I'm like, I need 2 kids, 2 different sizes of diapers for 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm not packing all that. So then I just had them. They use the Turkish diapers and it was great.
And it's fine. Most of the time, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's not my 100% cotton kudos. Right. Yeah. Who cares? It's whatever.
For a week.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of it too that comes down to like what you're comfortable with, and if something's really going to stress you out. Because for me, the diapers, I was stressed about it with the eczema, and so I packed a ton of diapers, which worked because I made sure we had more luggage than I ever would have traveled with when I was younger. But it made me feel better because I knew that I wasn't going to have to figure out how to read diaper things in Japanese. Like I didn't have to worry about it, and we made sure that my husband we could figure out a way to carry the luggage and it was going to be fine. So I think evaluating how much if it's going to be too stressful for you to wait or if you're cool with it. And then as you get better at it, because I do think travel is a skill, especially with kids. So now next time I go, I'd be more comfortable not bringing so many diapers, but I felt better and I slept easier knowing that we had enough.
Did you try the Japanese diaper?
No, because I brought
Because their standards are much higher than ours. So
you know what I did try because I forgot was the little pads for breastfeeding so that you don't leak. And they were so much better than ours.
I was going to say your kids might have thrived on Japanese
They
diapers because
probably
they don't
would've.
allow all the chemicals and crap that we do here.
They probably would have. I mean, I brought
Food for thought.
the little breast pads home.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is an amazing design. Like you pull it out of the thing and it automatically rips the sticky things off.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so much better than the American ones.
When my neighbor goes to Japan, she'll bring us back salad dressing and like face masks and stuff. It's all so much better.
Oh,
it's so much better.
But it would have stressed me out. So
And that's
Yeah,
I
so
think,
don't do if that's gonna. Yeah.
And one of the best things about packing a lot of diapers is you use them and then you have a lot of space in your suitcase to bring stuff home.
Yes.
yes, or you can just throw things in. It doesn't have to be so perfectly
Yes.
packed. That's what happened for us. It was like,
Exactly.
throw it in. We're just gonna figure it out at home.
Exactly.
So there's always two sides to it.
Let's talk about your packing because I love how you do it. I kind of learned how to pack Layton's first trip. I was like, okay, what's our plan? So talk about your plan and how you start, not for the airplane, but just for, well, I guess the airplane kind of comes into it, but I want to get into that further, but generally just like your process.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like packing lists that are like PDFs and stuff. In my world, I need a Google Doc, like a Google document, check boxes by bag. So each bag is outlined. At this point, I just like copy and reuse them and adjust them for each trip. But each bag has like the dedicated list of things that it will have in it, and I check it off as I go. I have started using packing cubes recently, which are like a revelation, and I'm embarrassed that I haven't used them for like the first 3 years of traveling with kids. But yes, the packing list, I would say by bag is critical. And then I look at what are we checking, which is usually like a checked bag or two if it's like a long, big trip, and then some semblance of car seats potentially, depending on where we're going, a pack and play. And then what are we carrying onto the plane? Because you get all kinds of like freebies with checked or with carry-on bags when you have kids, like a diaper bag, a pump bag. You can bring all of that above and beyond like the traditional allowance. But can you carry all of those items down the aisle of a plane and a child or 2 children and a stroller? So that was a lesson we learned pretty early. So I always like evaluate what we're carrying on and then who's carrying what. So we always have a process going in, and it's like, the husband's doing this and I'm doing that. I always bring my travel stroller on the plane if it's in the overhead, just personal preference so that it doesn't go underneath and it's easy to fit.
But you talk about it with your husband. That's a big thing too. You're having the conversations ahead of time about who's going to take this and what the roles and responsibilities are, it sounds like.
Yes, definitely. That's critical. I really own the packing because I like to know where everything is. But what's great is then a lot of the time we're in like multi-destination, like we'll go to the East Coast and then somewhere or like multiple states to visit family and stuff. And it makes it really easy to repack the suitcases because then I'm like, okay, that goes in that bag, that goes in that bag. And sometimes my husband will like put it I'm like, no, that goes in that bag. Check it off as you do it. So then we get on the same page and it makes things much easier.
Okay, I had found a great way to help with the packing list this time. I use AI. I know I talk about it on here. It was unbelievable. So all I did was I did like the voice. I did a voice recording and I just brain dumped everything that I wanted to pack. Wow. And then I asked it to help me organize everything by bag, by the type of things that it was, and put it all out and then create a checkable document for me. And it did all that. So that's another way if somebody's trying to pack that was really helpful for me to get it all out. Now that you have something reusable, that helps. But if you're starting from scratch, it can feel really overwhelming when you're packing for so many people. Especially for like multiple destinations or different weather, to feel like you actually got everything.
Yeah, I love that. And I will also say like my logic is usually like bring as little as possible on the plane. Like I try to check everything that I won't need because I think there's this tendency to I have a tendency to overpack and just bring things just in case. But as I've done it more, it's like, let's only carry what we need because we're going to be strapped with everything. Like my travel stroller is holding all the different bags, it's like piled up high with all the stuff my kid is walking. So it's just like, I try to be a little bit minimalist about it.
I start a couple days early, which I know you do as well. And I start my pile. I don't know if the AI checklist would work for me. I visually need to see the items.
Yes, same.
And I need to see them laid out. and then I have them assigned. And I always start with anything that I can't buy there. Contact lenses, glasses, a medication, or whatever. If I cannot buy it there, it is like secured by the front door. I don't think it's just done and it's checked off and it's easy. And then everything else I kind of build onto it. And then I just know that everything else, in the event that I forgot something, like I could buy somebody's shoes. I could buy someone's shirt. I could buy a diaper. I could buy. So there's extra thing, or unless there's like a specific, like my makeup and that type of stuff where I'm like, I really want that specific product. I just start with that because then I just know that it's coming, you know?
I love that.
And then I did assign, so for Turkey, we were each assigned a kid. Ashley was assigned to Evander. Michael's assigned to Layton or whatever. I think it was opposite, but I was assigned to myself, pregnant self. But that's the bag for that kid. That's the bag. And then that's just the bag that you own. Don't be swapping kids and don't be swapping bags. Because then you just know that your kid and your bag is taken care of, you know? So then it's never like, who has the size 4 diapers? Who has the size that no, it's in your bag and you just know it kind of a thing.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
No. What are your thoughts on packing for the plane?
Okay. Packing for the plane, I'm very methodical about. I want to, kind of similarly, I do want to prepare for any possible situation. So diapers, enough for everybody, change of clothes, even for myself, like, because you had a weird accident one time that.
This wasn't weird. It was horrific.
Okay, a horrific accident. So I think my anxiety just gets the best of me and I'm like, okay, in case someone has a blowout, in case someone has any of these sort of situations. So I'm really big on like a jumpsuit, like a cotton jumpsuit, because then it's not like a shirt and pants. I'm not trying to like rearrange it. It's just a cotton jumpsuit and it wraps up and then I have an extra outfit. Snacks, toys. We don't do screens yet. Maybe this
That's
year.
unbelievable that you went 12 hours and your kids slept and you didn't have screens.
don't
I
have
have a
screens.
hot take on screen.
Okay, what? Hear it. Let's
Well,
see.
it's not really a hot take. It's just more like what's happened. And I don't have 3 kids. I only have 2. But I just had this curiosity of like, how long could we go? We don't own an iPad. So I'm like, how long can we go without buying an iPad? Mm-hmm. And I was like pretty sure it would be inevitable that we would have one by the time she turned like 2. We did a ton of cross-country flights and we've gone to Europe every year since 4 times with the older kids. So a lot of like 10, 12-hour flights. And when they're like under 2, they're not really interested in the screens anyway. Then H2, like that trip to Europe and like that time frame, I was definitely like a little jealous of the parents that had the iPad, but like I didn't have one at that point. So I was kind of like, we're doing it. And that was the hardest age, was for me, like just turned 2. And then by the time we got to 3, we didn't need it. And like for me, there's screens on the plane. So I'm like, you can watch as much, like please enjoy, like watch every movie on the plane. But like we've made it this long without traveling with any personal screens for the kids. And it's kind of great because like now I feel like we're almost like past the hump where we need it. So
you're going to keep it going.
Why not?
See, I'm with you.
I feel
My
differently.
kids wouldn't keep the headphones on either. I did try. Layton, Evander was too little, but I tried to let Layton watch a movie on the way to Turkey, and he was like, I don't want this thing on my head. So we just ended up turning it up.
headphones
It's
are tough.
like,
See, we don't use screens really at all at home. But on the flight, they're the only thing that kept the children sane. And then we had them for when they woke up, because they would wake up at like 1 a.m. and then they won't go back to sleep. And they're really loud and big, like very high energy toddlers. And we're on like floor 6, right? So there's people under us and either side of us. And it was so stressful. And I was so glad that we had iPads to at least get them to like 6 a.m. So for us, it's a big deal. And the kids are excited to get on the plane because they get to watch TV, which they don't normally get to do. And my kids are really sensitive to shows. Like Frozen is way too scary for them. So we have to like put on things that aren't scary, which is a whole checklist. So again, I think it like kid dependent, age dependent,
It is.
all of it.
And like there's like no wrong way. I think it's all just like, I mean, like I said, I intended fully to have an iPad for her and we just haven't, but like I'm not opposed to it either. It's kind of just like,
Yeah, I like not
you
relying on it though. I like that we don't have it at home. I like that we don't take it to dinners. So it's just, you find what works for your family.
yeah, and kids are smart. Like I have heard people say like, I don't know, they tell their kid like the iPad only works on the plane or whatever. And, like kids can figure out that like I'm allowed to watch unlimited amounts of TV on a plane, but like when I'm not on a plane, that's not what I do. Like
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with my daughter after she got off the plane, being like,
Yeah.
oh, I just watched 5 hours of TV. Why am I not watching that
Yeah.
now? You know, so like they can put it in its place.
I think so too. It's interesting. So you overpack for the plane.
Well, so I was going to say tummy drops
Oh.
goes in everybody's bag, and we use them every single time. I don't know if it's like the pressure or something, but they need like soothing tummy drops. And then sleepy drops we have in each bag. Like those types of like medicinal things are just like ready in everyone's bag. If you're getting a little antsy, you're getting drops.
got the drops.
You're getting like some natural soothing lemon balm calm or something. So maybe I do overpack a little bit, but it doesn't feel like a lot of stuff. But it's just like everyone has a lot, like we're ready for everything in that one backpack.
In the one backpack.
Yeah.
Granted,
We're not doing screens. So like if we're getting antsy, like we have sticker pad, we have the dots, the sticker dots and like that type of stuff. It's like we let that activity and then when they're bored of that, we move on to the next one, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of entertaining. Like
It's a lot of entertaining.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Because even like my kids won't watch screens the whole time. They get bored. So it's just like filtering in all the new things. And I feel like we have way too many bags on the plane. We're way overpacked, similar to you. It sounds like you're more restrictive with what you bring. My story, though, do you want to hear about my horrific story?
It's a horrific story, but I also, how does this even happen?
Well, let me tell the story and you can ask me how it happened.
Okay. When you told me it last time, I was like, and I've thought about it since. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, all right. Well,
let's hear it. Let's hear it again.
With that intro.
Intrigued.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Let's hear it.
Okay, so my son is on the way home. We're on the way home from Mexico. We've been there for five days. And he is fully potty trained at this point, but like newly fully potty trained. Huge rookie mistake. I didn't put him in a diaper. And then we're all the way in the front of the plane and the front bathroom is broken. And so there's only one bathroom and it's at the very end of the plane. So I tell my son, I'm like, okay, bud, like maybe you got to go potty. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, we're just going to get in line anyway. I had an inkling, right? And so we're standing there and he goes, uh-oh, mama, I got to go poo-poo. And I'm like, oh, okay, hold it. He's like, mama, it's coming out. I'm like, no. And there's a big line because of course there's only one working bathroom on the airplane. And I'm like, I gotta get through. I start feeling the diarrhea coming through. And I'm like pushing past people. And now it's all over me. It's all over him. We finally get inside. And he's like, I think he's like 2. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's so overwhelmed. It's so stressful. So there's like poops getting everywhere. Because it's like I'm taking his clothes off.
My heart is racing right now just thinking about it.
It was my worst nightmare. And so I finally like kind of get it handled, but it's covered on me. So like my shirt's off, it's in the trash, and all of his clothes are done. So like those are all gone. So I'm walking back with a fully naked son that I'm carrying in a bra because I don't have a shirt on, but like, what am I going to do? And I'm sobbing. It's naturally, this is my worst nightmare. And I get back and my husband's like, what happened? He has our daughter. And I'm like, this was so, and then my dad is with us and I tell him the story. He goes, oh, honey, it could have been worse. Like, what does that even mean? What could have been worse? Why? I don't have a shirt on. This is like my worst nightmare on the plane. Sure, it could have been worse. But so now I overpack. Everybody has extra clothes. I have extra clothes. Everybody's diapered. I don't care. My son's now almost 5. He's diapered. But what part don't you understand?
Well, so like when they're newly potty trained, you kind of know that accidents are happening, right?
Well, accidents didn't happen for him.
If we drive, like Layton's been potty trained for probably a good 9 months, 10 months. But if we're going to drive longer than an hour, we're going in a pull-up or something.
We just didn't have to do that. Like he had always told us, but his stomach was upset and then the diarrhea happened. But like I said, rookie mistake. Now all the kids are diapered. I don't care how long it's been. So that would be for sure my recommendation. Okay. It was a mistake.
Because then I was thinking, what I was saying doesn't make sense. I was like, if they're newly potty trained, did you just forget diapers? Like in my head, that's what I was thinking last time. Like maybe you just forgot diapers.
No, my daughter, it was conscious.
It was intentional.
Yeah. It was like,
you just thought it'd be fine.
He's potty trained. Like he's fine. My daughter, he always gives us a warning. He can hold it. He's great. Aurora's in diapers. So while I was doing all that, my husband was taking my daughter and he was in line anyway, it was just, she was pooping. Everyone was pooping on the airplane. It's just like nightmare.
That's a thing. Like my kids always need okay, we have another protocol for this. Like always a diaper change right before, and you do it
in the airport.
Yeah.
And I do it at the gate. Yeah.
at the
Don't even torture yourself trying to change a diaper in there.
You have to.
But eventually,
Well,
on the
eventually you
bus.
have to.
But I always get that last.
But I
one
always
in.
get that last one in, like right before the boarding.
My kids always
And
poop
what's
on the plane.
your like kind of like what's your protocol? Like newly potty training, what have you done?
So we did that newly potty trained, and I read this somewhere, and like I don't know, maybe you just the easy thing to do is just like put a diaper on them and like call it a day. I think I was really worried because when you potty train, like they scare you that like if you put them back in the diaper, they're gonna regress and all that stuff. So I was terrified of that the first time we flew long distance. So I read something and we did undies with a diaper over it for the purpose of if
I remember that.
they wet themselves, like at least then they feel it in the undies, but then it doesn't get anywhere because there's a diaper.
Smart.
And it actually, she didn't have any accidents in flight with that method. And I don't think we were flying like 10 hours or anything. It was maybe like 4 or something, but that worked nicely. But now I like for the overnight flights to Europe and stuff, I treat it like the day. So I'm like, if she doesn't wear a diaper during the day, then I don't wear a diaper during the day on the plane. We go to the potty, I remind her.
It's fine.
And it's fine. And then when it's time to like go to bed on the plane, then we do what we do at home. We put the pull-up on.
That's what we did too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It was a 2-hour flight. It wasn't like some long flight I was prepping for. It was a 2-hour flight. You think it's going to be.
That's an extreme
don't make that-
example.
yeah, it's extreme.
But like this does like the like bodily fluids on the plane does have like I've been puked on because like you know you get like a turbulent landing.
Yeah.
And, like, you have a baby and they're just gonna puke on. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been puked on. Flying to Spain last summer, I was pumping. I had the LVs in and like the filling mechanism didn't trigger, so it just kept going. And I looked down and it's just like covered in milk, and it was like an hour into the flight.
Oh no!
So that was brutal. But I'm like, honestly, breast milk's not that bad compared to like the other flights.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always something. It's good just to have backup.
Better to be
clothing.
prepared. That was my takeaway. So we overpacked for Japan. We overpacked for the airplane. It's a whole thing.
inevitable.
But I feel better because I'm not going to repeat that situation again.
What are your top logistical tips?
That's a good question.
Like that is a good one. You always change a diaper before, like at the
Always
gate
change it
before. What are some
before.
other top logistical tips?
I use my car seat checked bag to transport other items. So if you have a car seat, you can check it for free. And usually when I'm traveling, I'm paying to check a bag. Maybe I'm paying to check a pack and play. I was like for the first couple of years, I would like bring my own pack and play because I was just like, I know this is a safe sleep space and I want to have it. Now I'll usually be more comfortable getting something there and they're older. But in a car seat bag, you put your car seat in the checked bag and there's a lot of space in there. You can put diapers, extra diapers, throw a pack in there, throw a pack of wipes. One time I put my entire pack and play in there and checked it for free. And then it got caught on the way back. We had to check it separately. But
Oh, really?
At least you tried.
Sometimes I don't even put car seats in there. We just put stuff
See,
in there.
there
Like
you
all the
go.
diapers go in
Yeah.
that bag.
just full of diapers.
It's like a car seat bag full of diapers.
I think it was the weight because it had a car seat and a pack and play.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like that's a good one. And just like, you know, I think whatever you can get at the location, plan to get at the location. Like car seats are a tricky one because I like to have my car seats. It also is like, are you going to bring the car seat on the plane with you? I have a good rule that I follow, which is like past 12 months old and for a flight over 3 hours, I'm buying a seat. I know it's free. You can do a lap infant. I'm not holding like a wiggly walking child for 5 hours or on an overnight flight. Like they're getting a seat. And sometimes they'll sit in it, sometimes they won't. But especially now having 2 kids, it's like the more space. So, you know, technically you don't have to buy a seat for them until they turn 2. But like I would before then if it's a long flight. Trying to think what else.
Talk to us about, I know you have some just cool tips and tricks with pumping, formula, water, what you can bring through.
Yes.
Talk about that stuff.
Yes, I've had some very interesting conversations with TSA agents in my time, many of which didn't even know that you could freeze breast milk. If you can travel with liquids for children, like you can bring a full water bottle through TSA for a child. They're going to check it, but you can do that. So I would say it's much easier to travel with.
Check it, meaning they're going to check it out, not check it.
Correct.
They're gonna test it.
Yes,
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Much easier to travel with frozen breast milk than liquid breast milk. So if you're bringing breast milk with you, if you can avoid, because anything liquid they're going to check. So it's just like the length of time. Pretty much when I travel with my kids, I expect to be pulled from the TSA line. So I leave extra time for that reason. But you can bring ice. So like, for example, I went to New York last year. I was pumping, but I went by myself for the weekend. I didn't have the baby. So I had milk that I was bringing back. And I forgot to bring a cooler. And my friend was like, oh, just bring ice and like put it in a bag with your milk. And I did that. And I was able to get the ice through and it kept it cold. You can also refreeze your breast milk if there are still ice crystals in it. So if you're like traveling a long distance, even if it's thawed most of the way, if there are still ice crystals in it, you can refreeze it so you don't have to lose your breast milk.
Did you learn that from Megan? From Wraparound Baby?
Yeah, probably.
She did a whole thing on that one day.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, probably.
Maybe it was that.
Yes, that's critical.
She was like, even if you see one little ice in there, refreeze
it.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing because it's like you could be traveling with your kid or without your kid and dealing with the long distance breast milk thing. I tend to, when I'm nursing or pumping or doing formula, I really overpack that stuff. Like when we went to Spain and Boston in July, we were gone for like 2 weeks and I was nursing, I was pumping. I brought like 4 cans of formula because I was just, it's different than diapers to me. Like if I'm in a new country, I'm sure the formula is amazing and it's fine, but like you just don't want to be in a situation where you're testing a new formula with your 5-month-old.
No.
So I overplanned. I also really like the breast milk chillers. That's not something I had tried before, but because I was pumping out and wanted to keep it cold, like so I didn't have to run back to the Airbnb to put it in the fridge, that buys you like 16 hours or
it's
something.
crazy.
Yeah,
I did that
great.
for Disneyland.
Yes.
Last time we went to Disneyland, granted we were doing the tour, so they like take you to like cool areas and they have fridges and stuff. But I had that like the chiller thing, like the tube, and the milk was literally frozen at 9:00 at night from the morning. It was crazy.
It's crazy how cold
Yeah.
it stays. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Other products, like what are your top must-have products for traveling?
I love the SlumberPod.
SlumberPod is
Can't
the
live without
best.
it.
Cannot live without. I don't understand how people travel without SlumberPod.
I don't either. And it's amazing. By age like 2.5, my daughter started opening it and being like, I just want to keep it open a little bit. And I was like, this is done.
She would. She totally would.
She figured it out and then that was done. But then I just transitioned it to the baby. So especially for room sharing, like we were traveling on the East Coast earlier this year and all 4 of us were sharing a room in some different locations. I mean, that's a savior because you can put a sound machine nearby that. I also really like the SlumberTot inflatable bed, although I will say we brought it to Spain last summer and as we were trying to inflate it, the fuse blew because it's a different like fuse than like we had the converter, but like the voltage is different. So that was a whole thing. I had to take the mattress out of the pack and play and use the mattress on the floor for the toddler and put the baby in the pack and play with just like the bottom piece, which was fine. But yeah, SlumberPod bed, I think are great. I have taken to, when I'm doing like a road trip, I've taken to just bringing my hatch with me, you know, like the full hatch.
Yeah.
Because like my toddler's trained on the colors. So I'm like, okay, a lot of the time she'll be in her own room in an Airbnb or something. I'm like, you know, if it's red, you still stay in your bed, even though you're in a different place. So love the Artie Pop. Can't live without that.
Can't live without.
Yeah, these are good ones.
The cost per wear of that thing is like negligible.
3 kids later and
yes. And then I will say I really like my travel stroller. And I think a travel stroller is really person dependent. I have the Silver Cross Jet and the value of that one is it lays down. It's safe for newborns. So it lays down fully flat, which with the age gap of my kids, they're 2 years and 9 months apart, worked really well because I could use it for the baby when she was really little. I could sit it up for the older kid. Like some travel strollers, you need like a bassinet attachment or something for the baby. So if you're going to travel really early, that one is actually a great one and it can handle the cobblestones, not like as well as, you know, a different stroller might, but like it can handle them.
The Cybex travel stroller is really good. The one that I would not recommend is, have you done the Butterfly?
No, but people do recommend it.
People recommend it, and I think it's just
Is that
marketing.
the Bugaboo?
Yeah.
Yes.
I use it. I love it.
Okay.
Why don't you?
Do you know that it is like 3 times the weight of other ones with the same capabilities? So everyone talks about the Butterfly, and I literally did a spreadsheet when I was traveling with the 2 babies. I'm like, okay, because I need both of them to be super light. I need them to do cobblestone in Turkey. I need them to lay down, et cetera, et cetera. The Butterfly, for whatever reason, has great capabilities. Don't get me wrong. Very durable, goes up in the top. But it's like 3x the weight. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Do the other ones, the reason why we landed on that one, I think it's the Butterfly. It's definitely a Bugaboo stroller, but it seats all the way up. Scarlett will
Okay.
freak out if she's at any sort of angle. And that was like the only travel stroller we could find that she's fully sat up. So it's the only way she would tolerate it.
That's legit because mine is at an angle and my kids like sit up
Yeah.
in it. They do lean back.
I'm trying to think.
It's really hard to find that.
It is. That's true.
Yeah,
Everything's
so-
a trade-off. It's either
Everything's
it
a
goes fully
trade-off.
back or it sits fully
If
up.
that's not like a very niche thing though, it's just so much heavier than, and I was like watching YouTube videos and people are like, this one is like significantly heavier. So anyways, just food for thought. If your kid doesn't have I don't know. I'm trying to think. I feel like our Cybex, I don't know, I'm going to go look at home.
See if it goes.
She's just very sensitive to it. Most kids aren't
Yeah.
so particular.
But just note, butterfly is much heavier. I don't know.
I
why.
will say the most popular one is the yo-yo.
Oh, yes.
And in Europe, there are two, if you're traveling there are like two things that they will mention. So like when I have my travel stroller and they're like, can that fit in the overhead bin? And I say yes, and they don't believe me. They're like, is it the yo-yo? And then I just say yes because they know the yo-yo can fit. So that one is commonly recognized for planes because a lot of time you'll be boarding, they'll be like, you have to check that. And then I say, no, I don't. And then I show them how it fits. The other one is car seat. The Maxi Cozy is the one that I don't use it, but a lot of people recognize, the airlines recognize in Europe.
And Maxi Cozy has a 6-pound one with a strap on the
See,
back.
I feel
That's
like they
the one I
invent
had.
new things in between my kids, and I never got
Yeah.
on board. I use we're not traveling with the car seat anymore. I did get the Wavy Pico. Are you guys familiar with this? It's pretty expensive, but it's like more of a harness, but it also has like a firm seat back. So we brought that to Europe this past time, and then I used the Graco Contender Slim for like the convertible car seat, and it works great.
You know what I've heard? I've never been a Duna gal, but I have heard that people have a lot of issues internationally. You can't take them to a lot of countries.
Well, the thing is,
Really?
in Europe,
Yeah.
they don't use car seats nearly as much as we do. Like not even in cars as much. Like you can take a taxi in London with your child without a car seat. Doesn't mean you have to. And I didn't do that.
how
But
Japan was.
Yeah, you can. And on planes especially, and I don't know how other parts of the world but definitely in Europe, it's very uncommon to see a car seat on an airplane. Like we were given like some strange looks and like one German couple came up to us and were like, what is that? Like, is it a special car seat that you're like bringing in on the plane? And I was like, everybody does this in the US. So yeah, you don't see many Dunas. You only see like babies in bassinet strollers or in like proper strollers. So I think if you're traveling internationally, maybe just like definitely if you're bringing your car seat, make sure you know where that FAA sticker is that has like the picture of the airplane, because some airline like hostesses will make sure that they can see that before they allow you to install it on the plane.
Interesting.
Yes, and just getting comfortable with the install because it can take a minute. Some airlines will have you install it forward facing. I've been on the same airline on transatlantic flights, and I've been told you have to install it backward facing and you have to install it forward facing. It's like completely inconsistent.
I have not done the car seat on the plane. My kids hate car seats, so it's just
There you go.
like
But that's like a great example of like you have to know your kid, because if
Yeah.
you're going to board a 10-hour flight with a car seat,
no way.
It doesn't behoove anyone.
No.
The only thing is if you buy a seat for your kid under 2 years, they do expect you to have a car seat.
Really? I've done that. Not
really?
international, but
Really?
yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just international then.
But I always hold them
Like
for
you had
takeoff
it-
and
Yes.
landing.
And see,
so it
I've been
hasn't been a
told different
problem.
things. I've been told you have to hold them for takeoff and landing, or they have to be in their car seat for takeoff and landing.
You know, it's just all different.
It just depends.
One
Talk about your debacle with,
Oh my God.
do you know what I'm going to
Yes.
say?
Okay, so we went to San Sebastian this past summer, which is in northern Spain in the Basque Country, right on the border with France. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so you guys know me by now. I'm like, we're on the border with France. It's 12 miles away. Of course we're going to France. But part of the reason we chose this destination was because we wouldn't need to rent a car, because we rented a car in Mallorca, which was fine, but it was like a lot of driving. We had 2 little kids and they don't love the car seat. So I'm like, let's not. So I booked us bus tickets, like a coach bus. And we brought our car seats with us to Spain because we needed them in Boston. And so we get all of our stuff together, day trip to France, to Biarritz. We're so excited. It's like an hour bus ride. And we get to the bus station and we are boarding the bus. And the bus driver is like, you can't come on board because we had the baby in the carrier, the Artie Pop. And he was like, you can't bring her. She needs a car seat. Which, like, I guess is logical. Like, it's
You're like, this is France. What are you
yeah, I'm
saying?
just like, this is it just didn't even cross my mind because of how little they use car seats. I'm like, And guess what? We took the city bus with the baby in the carrier, and it was
Yeah.
nobody blinked an eye. But for some reason, this like coach bus was a problem. You needed a car seat for her. So in retrospect, like I totally understand. But as the bus is pulling away, my toddler, who was like 3, just screaming, "But I want to go to France!"
Oh,
And I was like, "Girl, I can relate."
Same.
me too.
Same. Just screaming. So we pivoted. We did like a beach day, and then we ended up renting a car because I was like, this is
We're still going.
We're still going, and we ended up renting a car, and we had the car seats, and it was fine, and we drove there, and maybe it was even better. But yeah, that was a doozy because I consider myself like pretty prepped. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I need my different items, and I was just completely taken off guard.
I have kind of a higher level one, so I help women with time management a lot. And travel often falls into the bucket of something I want to do. And it is important to me, but it's not urgent. And so it just becomes this thing that keeps getting pushed. And it's like, yeah, I really want to take the family to Japan. One day we're going to do it. And then years and years and years go by and it doesn't happen because it's not time bound. It can happen whenever. And it's like, sounds overwhelming. Yeah. So how do you make sure that it happens because it's important to you?
Such a great question. And I actually adopted this spreadsheet. It's called The Years Are Short. And a gal, I forget her name, it's escaping me, but she wrote this article and she created this spreadsheet and I adopted it to make it more travel focused. So it's basically a list. It's very simple. It has like the year on one side. It has everyone's age. So like your husband's age, your age, all of your kids' ages, and then also the year they are in school. And it helps you visualize just like the time you have. Because I think to your point, a lot of the time we're like, well, we could do it next year. Now's not a great time because the baby's this age or whatever it may be. So for me, it helps to really see it visually of like, okay, I have this many years before this happens or before they graduate from high school. And I've started plotting it out in like the columns on the right for our travel each year because it's important to us to go back to the East Coast to see our family. So when are we going to do that? We have to find a time every year to do that. My brother is living in China, so we're planning on actually going to Japan next year. I have to pick her brain about that trip. But I'm like, he's only there for 2 years. So like if we want to see him and meet for a trip, then we need to do it in that finite time period. So I've started like physically plotting it out and I don't have it like for the next 10 years. I have it for the next like 2 years, but it helps to visualize and like have a repository for your ideas. And then like, how are you going to make them happen? Like, how do they exist in real time? And then sometimes I think it's just like getting honest about the trade-offs. Like probably we can't do everything, but like if you are intentional about the timing, then like, can you do some of the things? And I think like there are just trade-offs implicit in it. Like my husband and I, a lot of the time, all of the time, he works when we travel. Even if it's vacation, he gets a few hours in the morning. And that's just like the trade-off he makes to be able to travel. I have like a client-facing job. So like as client things come up, I tackle them. And that's just the nature of like where we are in life. And I think it's kind of the like not waiting until we can be like completely off the grid to do it and just kind of like doing it with the circumstances we have.
Just making it happen. I think for me, I like to do a quarterly review process where I just look at my goals and I write them down. And that's what spawned my trip to Japan. It's like, this is something that's important to me. It hasn't happened for a lot of years. Now we have 3 kids. When is it going to happen? Right. It just needs to happen. And I think taking the time to reflect on what's important to you and then putting a process in place like yours, I love that idea of mapping out the ages and the years so you can see it. I think it's a really good starting point because whether your passion's travel or something else, like finding time and making the time for things that are important to you, it makes motherhood more enjoyable because it makes you feel like you again. Sometimes there's a lot of identity stuff we talk about, but I think it's just, I don't know. Overall, that would be my recommendation. Yeah, don't let it get pushed off forever.
And the stay-at-home mom in me, it says sometimes, like I have felt just kind of blah, kind of mundane, kind of just like in a rut.
Yeah.
And I will throw the kids in the car and we'll just drive somewhere. Yeah. I mean, the other day it was Coachella. So we drove out to Palm Springs and it was an hour and a half and it was just like, let's just do this day trip. I've done like, Santa Barbara, where we just are like, let's just go. We just need a different scenery. And I know you get like that sometimes too. Oh, yeah. And sometimes it flops. You've been to places where you're like, I thought this was going to be awesome. It wasn't really awesome. Came home a day early because it's a driving trip. So I feel like even if the big one seems, a little too much to tackle right now, put it out for 8 months or a year or something, and then do something small in the interim. Because then you can just, the best part about a car right now too, I think, then you can just turn around and come home.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Everyone was like, you're driving your kids to Coachella. I'm like, yes, because if someone tips over, which they did around 6 p.m., I was like, okay, we gotta go. Let's just turn around, everyone get a snack, take a nap, and we're gonna go home, you know?
Oh yeah, I've come around a lot to the road trip, and we actually went to Arizona when my daughter was, I think, 4 months old, the baby. So about a year ago. And it was actually great because it was like a 6-hour drive that turned into like an 8-hour drive.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
But the reason being because we planned to stop every 2 hours because it's a, she's a little baby, she needs to eat, whatever. So we just it's the expectations thing. Like we went into it and we were like, this is going to take a day. We're going to stop every 2 hours. We pre-planned our stops where we were going to go so that we ended up in a place that we wanted to stop. And it was so much more relaxing than even, and this is like the second time parent thing, I think, but even than like when we did a road trip up north in California with the older daughter, and it was just kind of like drive as much as we can to get there in like the 3 or 4 hours.
Which is not,
it's not the
we've
move.
done that and it's not the move.
It's not the move.
No.
It was kind of miserable because then like, she wants to get out, everyone's hungry. But with the planned stops, I was surprised because I'm a New Yorker. I didn't drive for 10 years when I lived in the city. Like driving is like not my innate thing, but I really enjoyed it. And it kind of unlocked something for me where I was like, there are a lot of places you can get driving and it can be really nice. And then you have a car when you get there, which is even better.
I loved the stop. I mean, again, Palm Springs, quick and easy, but I had zero expectation. I had no time bound anything. And I just thought, okay, we'll jump out at the dinosaurs. However long we want to look at the dinosaurs, and we did. We were there for a little while. Then they saw the windmills. We pulled over, jumped out, looked at the dinosaurs. Then we wanted to stop at the Parker. Like I just didn't.
No rush.
I didn't have a rush, and it just made the day.
It changes.
Amazing, so smooth.
Expectations. I think lower your expectations. Make time for things that matter to you, and just do it because it gets easier the more that you do it.
Yes.
I have 2 more things that I really want to ask you before we wrap up. One, because somebody asked this, so I just want to make sure that I get, actually 3 things. Best places to take a kid, toddler, little one, and some places that didn't land.
I mean, I'm partial to Europe if you're thinking about a big trip. I think there are some countries that are so baby friendly, like you can't even imagine. Like Spain is a super baby friendly country. And child-friendly country in general, like you're cutting lines when you have kids. Like there's just so much accommodation that happens. So we've really enjoyed, I guess Spain is like my recommendation. We've been to Mallorca and San Sebastian with kids, and both are like absolutely incredible destinations. This is age dependent, but I will caveat and say like I am a city person. Like I lived in New York for over a decade before I moved out here. Traveling to cities with like a 2-year-old, bottom of my list. And that was like sad for me because I was so desperate to like get that part of myself back. And like I'm 2 years postpartum, like let's go to London, let's go to Porto. It was really hard because of the nature of cities. Like the tube in London, like you're going down like multiple stories. You're carrying 2 people are carrying the stroller. Your kid just wants to run around. And like people live in cities with their kids and it's no big deal, but there's something different about visiting a city versus living in it. And I feel the same way about New York. I have even like in these toddler years, it's not as enjoyable to visit New York City with kids because the hotels are small and it's like, how are you getting around? Are you taking the subway? There are just a lot of components. So for me, it's like, I would recommend for especially a first big trip with a family, pick one destination. Like we went to Mallorca, we were there for like 8 or 9 days. We had a home base and then we could drive around to other spots, but like don't overdo it. Like one spot, enjoy, like it's going to be slower with little kids anyway. And then I guess on the flip side, I would say like think long and hard if you're going to do like a big city trip with a 2-year-old.
With those ages.
Those ages. And then I went to Paris with 4 years old and in Amsterdam and it was the best time ever.
Yeah.
So like just give it a minute.
4 is totally different.
Game changer.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
So it's really like ages. I think that's such a good point.
And then talk about your solo trip with Celine. You did also have a solo trip with Celine.
This is like just my nature. I was like, well, I have maternity leave. I had like a flight credit on
Celine's the little one, by the
Celine's
way.
a baby. Yep. I had like an Alaska Airlines flight credit. So I was like, all right, let me go during the week somewhere while my toddler's at school. So like I'm not really missing her that much because I don't like to like do one and not the other. It's hard. So I found this flight to Northern California to Healdsburg. And I was like, I'm gonna go for 2 nights. Like I'm a mat lead. Let's just go. And it was a little bit of that. It was a little bit of like, I'm in this house with this baby all the time. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. But like, can we just get out of the context a little bit and shake it up? So I went by myself. I took her car seat. I had so much stuff. I took her car seat. I think I had a checked bag, so much stuff. But we went to a hotel in like downtown Healdsburg. It's wine country. And we just like bopped around. And 4 months, she was like mostly sleeping. It was like pretty easy. And it was great. It felt so good to me just to like say to myself, like, okay, I can do this by myself with a baby. Mm-hmm. And B, like, I get to experience new things with my kids, and I've never been here before. And maybe it's not like a super far trip. It was an hour flight, and it was a hard flight, incidentally, but like, it was still really worth it. So it was a little bit of an experiment, but it was fun.
I love that.
Confidence building as a
Yes.
mother.
Yeah.
Yes, especially with 2 kids. Like, having 2 kids is such a different dynamic. You guys have 3 kids, and sure, it's such a different dynamic, but like building that muscle with the different ages and kids.
I love that. Okay, last one before we wrap up. I already sent it to you, but I just wanted to. So somebody wrote to me and said, if you were traveling to Italy and staying in Tuscany, which have you been to Tuscany with the girls?
No.
Have you've been to Tuscany though?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Have you been to Tuscany? Mm-mm. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite places in the world.
Honeymoon.
list.
COVID canceled it.
One of my, I went for, it was on my tour of wedding venues. So I went to Italy for 2 weeks to scout wedding venues, and it was up there. She's going to Tuscany for a few weeks. Would you find Italian diapers similar to the ones you love? Would you ship the diapers to the villa, or would you do something else? 2 weeks, and she has twin boys. That's a lot of diapers.
A lot of diapers. I don't think you can carry that many diapers.
You wouldn't carry on. So would you ship, or would you buy there?
No, well, I think it depends. Like if you have like a special
To the earlier
sensitive
question, I don't
skin
think
or
she
something.
cares that much.
No,
So buy there.
I would like have my diapers for travel days. Like I would want to know that my diaper is my diaper, and then in the middle, I would just buy whatever they have.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Yeah. Okay, and so keeping that same, she has 2 twin boys. She has twin boys that are a year old. Having an issue where the villa does not have cribs. We're with other people, and the rooms are not big enough for us to put the mattress on the floor, which you mentioned before. And co-sleeping with 2 of the boys just isn't feasible. They could ship pack and plays. What are your thoughts generally? What would you do?
You said they're 1.
They're a year old.
I mean, I've never had twins, so it's double, but I would bring my pack and plays.
Okay.
Because the cribs and things that you can either like find or get on location are a very spectrum of like what is acceptable to a parent, I think, here. So I'd probably want to know where they're sleeping before I got there. I would either like just check my pack and plays. You can just check them, pay $50 or whatever. Or I think depending on like if they're like just turned 1 or if they're like almost 2, the SlumberTop bed or like one of those, I think Hiccup Pop makes one. They're like the inflatable little bed mattresses, and they're kind of like narrow, so they could fit in a lot of different rooms. Maybe the boys like sleep together in there. You could definitely fit like 1, 2-year-olds in there. But I would bring my own.
Yeah.
I traveled
space.
a lot with 2 pack and plays and 2 SlumberPods,
Wow.
and in 1 hotel room with a bed.
Yeah, that's always been my
Just
jam.
check it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the cribs are weird. The cribs can be weird.
Turkey had a beautiful setup for us. We got lucky because I was like, we're not bringing the pack and plays, but they had 2 beautiful cribs and the whole thing, and it was just they had their own room. But we always just bring the 2 pack and plays with the 2 SlumberPods with 2 sound machines.
Yeah, I learned my lesson when we went to Miami, and the Airbnb said they had a crib, and my daughter was 11 months, and in the crib was a blow-up mattress. And I was just like, I can't do this. And we had been traveling all day to get there, and my husband had to go to like Walmart and buy a pack and play, which we then like donated afterwards. So I was like, I need to know she's sleeping in like a place that's okay. So I think one thing you can do, which it sounds like she did, is like you can email the venue or the Airbnb. I always ask for pictures of the sleep space.
Oh, smart. Okay.
European pack and plays are longer than American ones. So like sometimes the SlumberPod isn't a great fit. So like I just, at that age, I just tend to bring my own.
Yeah. Smart.
That age, it's easier to bring.
It's
As
easier
they
to
get
bring.
older, you can deal with more.
Yeah. You can share a bed and not sleep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
you, guys.
So
Yeah,
happy
so
to
much
have you
fun.
here. Where can people find you?
On Substack, carryon.substack.com. That's my Substack.
Love it. Okay.
I'm excited to find you.
Thanks for being
Amazing.
here.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
guys on the next one.